If you follow Smash closely, you might have seen this graphic somewhere. You might also have heard some opinions on it, and even thought to yourself, man, no wonder I do bad with Chrom. This character must be low tier on Wi-Fi. Well, whatever conclusions you might have drawn, I am here to destroy them. And I will also show you what PGStats did not figure out. PGStats has advertised their article with over 30,000 games of data. Without any context and further thought, this seems like a huge number, and yes, for a lot of studies it is. For Smash, however, this number is way too low, and here's why. Let's take a look at how PGStats analyzed their enormous data pool. The first thing to note is that the chart only looks at top 8 placements. This alone is a reasonable demand. After all, we want to make a tier list for top or at least high level play. But this takes away a big part of our data. Take one of the prime examples in this. Chrom. Chrom has a pitiful win rate of 33% in the top 8 placements. This obviously means that Chrom must be bad online, right? Fortunately for us, PGStats gave us their whole dataset. And if you look closely, there were a total of 21 Chrom sets played in the top 8 of all tournaments. 21 sets, with 7 wins and 14 losses. If someone like Mr. R had entered one more local tournament and won only 5 more sets, Chrom's win rate would have gone up to almost 50% again. So clearly, if one single tournament makes a difference of more than 20% in win rate, the data for low usage character is absolutely unreliable and means nothing at all. But what about those high usage characters? Surely those must provide some insight, right? Well, the highest amount of top 8 placements comes from Palutena. There were 435 matches played in that time, a respectable number. Usually, when a study of any kind is conducted, you want to get at least a few hundred samples for every variable you want to measure. In this case, you might think 435 is enough. After all, 400 sets with one character, you should know how well they do, right? Well, you have to consider something very important. There's a limited amount of Palutena players. If you look up Chag on PGStats, he alone has played 1,634 matches in the last PGStats season. So the win rate shown in a big part is not Palutena's win rate, but Chag's win rate. If you split the 30,000 games by all characters, it becomes very obvious how much more data would really be needed to get a good estimate. Now that we know the theory behind this chart and why it doesn't really mean anything at all, here are some more funny examples which show the absurdity of this statistic. Rosalina has a win rate of 50%. Pretty balanced character, right? Well, there were a total of 16 games played with her. Only 4 more sets won or 1 tournament run from the buzz, and she would have shot up to number 1 character in win rate. Interesting. Echofighters. Richter has a 3.5% higher win rate than Simon. Dark Samus has a 6% higher win rate than Samus. Even if there were some correlation between skill and picking the edgier character, those surely aren't enough to explain this vast of a difference. Now there's one final thing PGStats did not fully analyze, and it's probably the only one with statistic significance, and that's the difference between high level and the average player. The dataset PGStats give us also show win rates and pick rates for all matches, not just in the top 8, as well as this beautiful graphic. For some characters, their win rate changes quite a lot. For example, the highest overall win rate lies with the Young Link at 63.6% in 686 games. In top 8, however, this win rate drops to 46.8%. On the other hand, Lucario only has a 42.1% win rate in all matches, but 53.3% in top 8. Now hold on, Gaggle, I hear you say. Didn't you just say those character statistics don't mean anything? There are only 24 total games in top 8 for Lucario, so that wouldn't make any sense. And yes, you are totally correct with that. But what if you aggregate multiple characters into categories? Look at the top 15 characters with the highest difference in win rate between high-level games and average games. Those are values between -18% and -6%, meaning these characters had an 18 to 6% higher win rate in the average low and mid-level game compared to top-level games. Now take a look at the top 15 characters with the win rate difference in the other direction, meaning on top level they performed between 4 and 19% better than on any lower level play. You probably already noticed. On low and mid level, projectile characters have a much higher win rate than on top level. PGStats also saw this relation and made a quick side note about it without explaining how large this difference actually is. On top level, however, there's also a connection between the technical and strategical complexity of character. While characters like Sheik, Rosalina and Ice Climbers simply require a lot of technical precision, Others like Lucario, Lucina or Mewtwo need a different game plan than just mashing buttons to win. If we group those characters into categories, we have a way higher sample size. Around 13,000 matches per category for mid and low level, instead of the usual 133 games per character we had before. So what conclusions can we actually draw from the data we have? First, we need way more tournament data to make an accurate high-level tier list. As it currently stands, analyzing every different character makes no sense and has no statistical value at all. Second, and this might sting a bit for you as well as for me, on low and mid-level play, zoners actually do have a lot of success. But on high and top level, this drastically changes. Once you reach a certain skill level, that annoying Samus or Youngling becomes way less of a problem than a really good Lucario. Thanks for watching. If you like this kind of analysis and would like me to go even deeper into the statistics behind Smash, make sure to tell me with a comment and a like. Until the next video.